Sometimes I wonder, does anybody really know who USC is?
You are Locked On Trojans, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Fight on, everyone. I'm your host, Mark Hulkin, and thank you for making Locked On USC part of the Locked On Network, your first listen every day. Whether you're watching the show on YouTube, wherever you are listening to your podcast, this show is always free, and this show always appreciates your support. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Sometimes I really do wonder if the outside world truly knows what makes up USC's roster. I don't think they really understand how many freaky athletes USC has. I had to, go through the list. I wanted to see for myself what makes up USC's roster. Who are the guys that are just, okay, they're better than the other guys. They're better than the other guys on the other rosters. They're guys who are projected to have possibly NFL careers, either coming out of high school or as they continue to develop in college. So you know what? I thought I'd put together my my athletic freak list, right? My Houdini of the freaks come out. So here we go. I'm going to start on the opposite side of the ball in the first segment. I'll move over to the defense in the second segment. And then we get to the third segment. Yeah, ESPN is doing something stupid again. We'll talk about that. But first, let's do this. So we can forget about all the Heisman trophies and the All-Americans that USC has. Plenty of those. That happens. Those are the fruits of their labors. Those are the spoils to the victors, the guys who, by the time they have left USC, they have accomplished something that you're going to remember them for. So you have the O.J. Simpsons, the Reggie Bushes, the Keyshawn Johnsons, the BMWs, the Marcus Allens. Don't forget, you have R.J. Soward. He was a freak athlete. Didn't really accomplish a whole lot other than, being UCLA's biggest nemesis. Marquise Lee, the Adoree Jackson, Tyron Smith, Sean Cody, Big Cat Leonard Williams, Tuli Tuipulotu. These are athletic freaks. And look, there's a whole bunch more that I could rattle off. I just don't have enough time to do it, unfortunately. Each of those guys, though, that I mentioned had really unique, God-given type of talents that you can't teach. It's just they have them already. You can develop them to be better, but you can't teach you can't teach size. You can't teach speed. You can make it better, but you either have it or you don't, right? So again, on this episode of Locked On USC, I'm going to tell you who my 2024 freaks are on each side of the ball, starting on the offense. I think the conversation starts on offense with Zachariah Branch. Where else, right? Last year, as a true freshman, he already started to pile up the awards, the accolades. This year, he's already, he's been named to the 2024 Walter Camp Player of the Year watch list. Same thing, Player of the Year award. He was the nation's fourth oldest individual college football accolade. So that Walter Camp Award, everybody knows about the Heisman. Walter Camp, it's been around almost as long. So going into the season, preseason Athlon, first team All-American. You got Phil Steele, preseason All-American, first team. Everybody has Zachariah Branch as a freak, put it that way. You can describe him as a human joystick. He just has that rare combination of elite speed, quick feet, Gumby-like flexibility, great hands, and a football IQ that, again, he's a freak. He is what everybody wants on their team. He was considered the most dynamic skill player in the 2023 recruiting cycle. Most considered him an instant impact game breaker type of player. And he ended up picking USC over Ohio State, Alabama, and Oklahoma. Good thing. USC needs guys like this. And let's not forget what also makes him a freak. He's got He already has NFL Hall of Fame DNA coursing through his blood. His uncle, Cliff Branch, Raiders wide receiver back in the day. You see where he gets it from. Another guy in offense, Jacoby Lane. He is exactly what Dr. Frankenstein probably dreamt up when he was thinking about playing football. 6'4", 195 pounds, 6'8" wingspan. And according to Jacoby, when I asked him at USC's Media Day, he has a 46-inch vertical box jump. Okay, pretty good. Almost 4 feet. He could probably do 48 inches if he tried hard enough. Did you see his coming out party against Louisville in the Holiday Bowl? Yeah. You saw what he can do. Sliding, jumping, mossing guys for touchdowns in the end zone. You should see what he's capable of doing during practice. One-handed stuff. I think you should know by now, I have no ceiling for that guy. Zero, none. His production in 2024 is going to surprise a lot of people. I'm going to stay in the wide receiver room, talk about Deuce Robinson. He was the number 1 tight end in the class of 2023. He's a 2-sport star. That makes him a great athlete right off the bat. Plays baseball when football season is over. Tremendous athlete. A freak. He is BMW. He's a mismatch against cornerbacks, against safeties. 6'6", 230 pounds, runs like a deer. He has a 6'10" wingspan. He runs past defensive backs. Last year, true freshman, 15 catches, 307 yards, and he had that touchdown before he got to the Holiday Bowl. And then he added another one with that 44-yard bomb that he caught from Miller Moss. And he was running away from the defender. There are other guys that aren't wide receivers. What about Emmanuel Prignon? Okay, when you think about athletic freaks, we don't often think about guys who play in the trenches. When he showed up in the transfer portal from Wyoming, first impression, didn't scream athleticism. Another year in the program, oh man, what a year makes. A complete different player. He looked soft. Now he's squatting 685 pounds. He benched 315 10 times. Apparently, he's got a top end speed of 17, almost 18 miles per hour, 17.8. I'm not kidding. His stock took an immediate uptick during the offseason. He's 6'5", 320 pounds. All right. When you look at him, he now looks like an NFL lineman. And because of the way he's restructured his body, he's going to have better footwork. He's going to move better. How about Walter Matthews? Tight end. He's going to be a freak. Guys his size definitely should not move that well. He is USC's version of Brock Bowers. Yeah, the guy from Georgia. The number 1 guy. Yeah, really, really good. Walter has that type of freakish athletic ability. Others who made my honorable mention list include Xavier Jordan, wide receiver, Mekhi Lemon, wide receiver, Brian Jackson at running back, Woody Marks. In fact, all the running backs. Quentin Joyner, Amarian Peterson, all those guys have unique athletic, freakish abilities. I also want to include Kyle Ford. He's got that unique combination of size, and he might not have the same speed he had coming out of high school, but it's still a good combination. I talked about it on yesterday's episode. Get him the ball in stride, tough to bring down. Carson Tabaracci, I think he is under the radar. Think about this. He's a really good athlete. He's already tried out running back. He's tried out linebacker. He's now a tight end. Get healthy, get on the field, show everybody what you're capable of. So who did I miss on the offensive side of the ball? You know where to find me. Hit me up in the comments section. Point being, USC's got some athletes. They got some freaks, some dudes. I think they might have it even more, though, on the defensive side of the ball. We'll check that out coming up. Like you, like me, we spent our youth growing up. We were going to our favorite Major League Baseball parks. I'm a huge Dodger fan. I was hanging out there. Chavez Ravine before it got really expensive. That was before all that corporate sponsorship showed up on the wall, before parking turned into a nightmare. Well, with killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their best price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. You can see the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. They have all-in prices that show your total up front. That way, you know you're getting a great deal before you check out. Buy your tickets in seconds. It'll take you 2 taps and you'll be done. Trojan fans, LSU fans, any fan that's going to Vegas for Labor Day, have you gotten your tickets for the game yet? Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the start of the event and even an hour after it starts. It's the place to find last-minute seats. And with the Game Time guarantee, it means you'll always get the best price guarantee. If you find tickets at the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKE, D like David, ON like Nancy, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Thank you for making Locked On USC your first listen every day of the day. I can't say it enough. Do me a favor, for your second listen, go give it a shot. Go enjoy Locked On College Football. Spencer McLaughlin, he's going to get you past, he's going to get you ready for an exciting season on the gridiron with discussion on the upcoming season, the ever-changing landscape of college athletics, including conference realignment, the transfer portal, NIL, the new college football expanded playoffs, and everything else that's going on. Locked On College Football is available on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. All right, let's look at the defensive side of the ball. Who are the freaks? Who are they? I'll say the first guy that just pops out to me, because you don't see this too often, especially playing cornerback. DeCarlos Nicholson. He's 6'3", 195 pounds. He has what I describe as knuckle dragging arms. Okay, that's how long they are. People say, what's a knuckle dragger, Mark? Well, I like to snow ski. Snowboarders, they drag their knuckles on the mountain. That's how they control themselves, how they guide their path. That's where you get the term knuckle draggers. Anyways, he started off at Mississippi Gulf Coast Junior College, and then these past 2 years, he was developing at Mississippi State. What I saw in the spring game was any ball that's passed in his vicinity, it's not out of his reach. Yeah, he's a long strider. He can keep up with the smaller wide receivers. He's big enough to challenge guys like, Jacoby Lane, Deuce Robinson. But because of those arms, because of that length, you saw that interception he made in the spring game. He's never out of the play. I think he's going to be a starter. We'll see. Jacoby Covington, he's another big cornerback, another fast cornerback. That's a really good competition. But when you look at DeCarlos, you're like, whoa, that's a cornerback. Tall, rangy, long arms. So long, Corey Foreman, right? Number 1 defensive player in the country when he came to USC. Just didn't work out for whatever reason. However, Anthony Lucas, he's still at USC, all 6'5", 275 pounds. Last year, we heard about all these athletic, freakish plays that he was making during practice. We heard about it, didn't really see it. And we've been hearing it. It's already started again this year. This year, though, we need to see it. It has to show up on game days. I don't want to hear the coaching staff. I don't want to hear his peers talking about, dude, you got to check out Anthony Lucas. He's the man. Heard it last year. Granted, going to give him a mulligan because of the scheme. Scheme has changed. I need all 6'5", 275 pounds of that. I need that to show up on Saturdays. He has that NFL body. Again, and he's another one who took the offseason really seriously. Last year, he did play in all 13 games that USC played. He's only started one of them, though. And in those 13 games, 10 tackles, 3.5 for a loss. I need to see that production increased by 3 across the board. So give me 30 tackles. Give me, almost 12, call it 10 and a half, 11 sacks. You give me that, I'll be happy. Anything above that, I'll be ecstatic. Does Bear Alexander belong on the freak athlete list? Nothing about him kind of jumps out when you look at him. But the same was said about Aaron Donald when you look at him. Not the biggest, not the strongest guy. He developed, got really good at his craft. He was unstoppable. I need Coach Henne to find Bear Alexander's go button. Whatever turns him into that athletic freak, USC needs him to be that guy. So again, I'm not sure if Bear fits the mold. I do know that Braylon Shelby sure as hell does. When you look at him, 6'5", 265 pounds. He looks like an NFL rush end right now. He's a true sophomore. He reminds me of Jadeveon Clowney, the former #1 overall draft pick back in 2014. Look, you look at him. If you're judging a book by its cover, same size, same height, same athleticism, fast, powerful. Yeah. Braylon's he's gonna be competing for that starting defensive end spot this year. His versatility and Danton Lynn's scheme, you can move him all over the line, both end positions. You might even be able to slide him inside on occasion. How about Cameron Fountain? He has that same book cover that Braylon Shelby has, slightly bigger, 6'6", 265 pounds. We're going to find out if he can do it this year as a true freshman. He's got the freakish athletic abilities. Jade Abasiri, again, freak potential, 6'6", 290 pounds. You saw him, if you watched, I believe it was Monday's episode of Locked on USC. Yeah, you see him on the walkout. Whoa, baby. Big boy, true freshman. Before his injuries, Zion Branch, well, he still looks like a freak, but we're going to see if he's been able to recover because when he's healthy, I think he's going to be able to prove it. Tremendous football IQ. He has the frame. You could play him at safety. You could play him at nickel. You could probably even line him up closer to the line of scrimmage. He fits the category. One of the most highly recruited players coming out of high school from Bishop Gorman. Eric Gentry belongs on the list. You're 6'6", 220 pounds, tall, rangy. If you're trying to throw over him, around him, you can't because his arms are, 7 feet long. So far in his 2 years at USC, he's had 117 tackles, 3 sacks, 8 pass breakups, 3 forced fumbles, 2 interceptions. He did all of that in Alex Grinch's scheme. Yeah, kind of curious. What is Danton Lynn going to do with him? A lot of versatility in that type of player. Eli Newby. We're going to find out, but dude is a freaky athlete. We're going to find out what he's capable of doing this year as a true freshman. Probably going to see a lot of that showing up on special teams, I would imagine. But again, 6'3", 220 pounds. In high school, he played wide receiver. He played I think he played every position on defense. This is a guy who can move all over the field. Special athlete. Again, I'm not sure what we'll see from him in 2024. They have him developing at the linebacker spot. I don't know if he has the right size right now as far as weight is concerned. You've got Easton Mascarenas, Arnold, Mason Cobb. We'll see what happens with Eli, but definitely he's got that athletic freak label attached to him. Who did I miss on the defensive side of the ball? Again, hit me up. You know where the comment section is. Hit me up on YouTube. Hit me up on Twitter. X, excuse me. Or you know what? When you're done making Locked on USC your first listen, and you're done making college football your second listen, get it over to WeRC.com. Let me know over there. Plenty of places you can find me. I'm easy to find. Next segment. Yeah, we're going to talk about maybe USC has an easy schedule. Apparently, ESPN doesn't think they have a top 25. Yeah, they're at it again. Here we go. So let me get this straight. No one thinks USC is going to have a strong season because of their schedule, right? Everybody, we know they opened the season against number 12 LSU. That's in Las Vegas, September 1st, Labor Day weekend. We know that they're going to play the preseason number 8 team, Michigan, the defending national champions, third game of the season. That's going to be on the road in Ann Arbor. We understand that USC is scheduled to face 3 teams who are going to start the season in the top 10, right? I just mentioned Michigan. LSU's on the outside looking in at number 12. Well, they got number 7 Notre Dame. They got number 9 Penn State. Both of them are coming to LA. I mean, because of that schedule, preseason, this is why Las Vegas, all the betting sites, they have the, USC's win total over under set at 7.5. It's because of that schedule, right? It's why USC is, the coaches have in preseason ranked number 23. I need someone to tell me what ESPN is smoking. Please. ESPN released their top 25 hardest college football schedules. Let me go over it with you. Number 1, Florida. Tell me what you recognize here. It should pop out to you. Number 1, Florida. Number 2, Mississippi State. Number 3, Georgia. Number 4, Kentucky. Number 5, Auburn. Number 6, Alabama. Number 7, Oklahoma. Number 8, Tennessee. Number 9, Georgia Tech. Number 10, Texas. Purdue 11, UCLA 12, Washington 13, Vanderbilt 14, Illinois 15, Ohio State 16, South Carolina 17, Michigan 18, Michigan State 19, Texas A&M 20, Arkansas 21, Ole Miss 22, LSU 23, Wisconsin 24, Maryland 25. What stood out to you? Well, first of all, there are 6 teams on that list who play USC. Interesting. Remember on yesterday's episode of Locked on USC, I talked about the coaches poll, the voters bias, how they vote. Well, ESPN's bias is showing. The 9 out of the top 10 toughest schedules are in the Southeastern Conference. 15 of the top 25. The other 9, they're from the big conference. I get it. All of this data is subjective, caca, poo-poo, crap that's literally going to get flushed really soon as the season kicks off. But we need the season to kick off soon, right away. Sooner than USC's 26 days away, if you're watching this episode of Locked on USC on Wednesday. I need someone to go do a welfare check on the folks over at ESPN. There's some serious brain rot going on over there. Again, I gave you the schedule. Everyone's saying that USC can't win more than 7 games based on their schedule. Why isn't USC's schedule considered one of the top 25 toughest in the country? Someone tell me why. Make it make sense. I get it. ESPN covers the SEC this year. Fox outbid ESPN for the big conference where USC is located, where Ohio State plays, where Michigan plays. I get it. The SEC in general has always been, SEC fan especially, has been always insecure about their product. It's why they have to always inflate everything. Well, we play against each other. When Alabama has to play, Mississippi State, who's 4-0, well, go look at Mississippi State's out-of-conference schedule. Tell me how they got to 4-0. Again, if USC's schedule isn't that tough, then let's change the over-under on the wins. I need it to make sense. Somebody help me out here. I don't get it. I don't consider myself Einstein, but I'm not dumb. I know 1 + 1 = 2. And when I start hearing 1 + 1 and it doesn't equal 2, someone has to teach me the new math. Okay. So there you go. Another episode of Locked on USC in the books. Don't forget about Locked on College Football when you're done making the Locked on USC your first listen. Go check it out. I need you to head on over to weareusc.com. We've got a lot of content going up. A lot of stuff. USC. I'll be back at practice tomorrow. So on the next episode of Locked on USC, we're gonna have a football practice update. We're that much closer to the season kicking off. All right, everybody. I'm out of here for right now. Again, thank you. If you're watching on YouTube, you haven't become a subscriber yet, why not click that red subscribe button? It's free. Thumbs up, smash it. Really means a lot to the show. And you're not going to want to miss an episode. Click that bell notification button. That way you're going to get all your USC news, notes, all that recruiting information that you want, and you're getting it from a reliable source. So until then, everyone, you know what to do.